Hello everyone, Handyman here. Today, August 8th, 2020, marks 2 years since King K. Rool was announced as a playable fighter for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. To celebrate, I decided to do something a little different. I have been an avid supporter for King K. Rool over the years, so I thought to look back, narrate, and commentate in 20 posts I made on the website SmashBoards. It still feels surreal that King K. Rool joined in Ultimate, and a lot of it does stem from how much I believed in him as a great idea for a Smash character. Without further ado, let's get started. First off, here's the first post I made on SmashBoards referring to King K. Rool. This was posted in Lil Mac's Smash 4 support thread after he got confirmed. Now we need King K. Rool and Ridley, and this will become the best game ever. I guess Smash 4 was not the best game ever, but thank goodness that Ultimate added both Ridley and King K. Rool after all. Secondly, here's my first post on the Smash 4 King K. Rool thread. Can I please be added to the supporters list as well? This is where it all begins. Here's an early thoughts on if leaks meant anything for King K. Rool in Smash 4. Right into nostalgia. If King K. Rool is not going to be playable in Smash 4, I'm going to be so disappointed. I'm not going to believe any of the leaks until either 1. The game releases in Japan, or 2. King K. Rool is a playable character. I was probably being a little dramatic, but this just shows how committed I was to the Kremlin King even back then. I actually watched Nintendo's E3 2015 presentation at the Nintendo Road store in New York. When discussing on how we could reach out to Nintendo representatives on us wanting King K. Rool to come back, here's what I had to say. I meant to say this earlier, but I never got around to it until now. I actually went to Nintendo Road for a viewing party for the Nintendo Digital event. Just before the presentation began, they asked a few of the 100 people there to find out what they wanted to see out of the Direct. Names like Star Fox, Metroid, and F-Zero popped up. And then I was one of the last people called on before it began. This was my chance. I wasn't talking to the developers of the Smash DLC or anything, but I knew this was a great outlet for talking to people somewhat involved with Nintendo who enjoy hearing what their fans have to say. I shouted, "King K. Rool for Super Smash Brothers!" It's interesting, because everyone else mentioned a game series instead of a specific DLC character for Smash. No one else thought to mention someone like Wolf, but there it was, practically saying I wanted King K. Rool in Smash as much as I wanted a brand new video game. I don't know how the Nintendo World staff felt about it, but it's kind of incredible that I was able to spread a message like that. I knew it was a shot in the dark to hear more about Smash in the digital event after the Sunday broadcast 2 days before, but the Nintendo World people knew what the contents of the digital event were before it began apparently. As they said, we would all enjoy it after I heard out the fans. I know that some of the people who work there do personally know people like Reggie, so it's not out of the question that any of those suggestions could potentially happen someday. I may be blowing this out of proportion, and it probably doesn't affect what the DLC developers are playing out right as I speak, but my point is that I wanted a $5 character for Smash just as much as I wanted Star Fox Zero, if not more so. I think that's incredible that I managed to spread that thought when I did. Even if it doesn't matter, it's better to say something to Nintendo reps than nothing at all. I agree today that it's better to speak about anything if you can. Sure, the people working in Nintendo World probably have no control over what the higher-ups in Nintendo do, but it helps to raise awareness regardless, as it helps to sell things to fans if they know what you want. On the Smash 4 King K. Rool thread, reaching 1,000 pages. I'm a bit late to the party, but it's amazing how devoted we are to earn 1,000 pages. I rarely post in here and mostly lurk. However, I have been begging for King K. Rool to be a playable character in Smash since Brawl, and if he does get released as a DLC character, I plan on becoming the best Smash 4 King K. Rool main in the Midwest. If this thread does not prove its popularity, I don't know what will. Let's keep working towards our goal. Our finest hour will come soon enough. I may not live in the Midwest anymore, as I have since moved to Southern California, but our finest hour did eventually come after all. I'm also happy that I ended up becoming one of the better King K. Rool players in Southern California, along with Tropical. This is my response to some questions about King K. Rool. Time for some questions. Number 1, what is your favorite thing from K. Rool? how insane and ruthless his personality is, especially in Donkey Kong 64. 2. What pose do you think King K. Rool's render is gonna have? A pose where he stands up straight, his pose being tilted to the right. His left arm is raised and has his fist pumped, with his bulging right eye showing his lust for domination. His eyes look straight at you, and his right arm stays down next to his hip. His cape also flows a bit, like Marv's render. 3. If you had to give K. Rool a new place to live, what would it be? The location Donkey Kong Country Returns 3 will take place in. 4. Do you have any fond memories of this thread? If so, what are they? The Chunky Kong rumor was hilarious and actually made me want to find footage of him. The rumor is eventually proven fake though. 5. Do you think K. Rool is going to be competitively viable? As a Charizard main, not entirely. My results with Zard make me feel like that he's mid-tier, but if K. Rool's moveset is based on trapping and zoning, then he'll also be mid-tier. 6. Has K. Rool always been your most wanted character? Or has there been any other character you wanted more that's been confirmed or denied? Before Smash 4 release, I still want to see Pac-Man and Lil Mac. Pac-Man because Namco is co-developing the game, and Pac-Man himself being a very iconic character that would fit right in. Lil Mac because I thought he should have been in Melee, and Punch-Out and the Wii revived the series. However, while I just thought those two characters would be nice to have, I wanted K. Rool way more than those two and would go out of my way to main him. So K. Rool is the only character I want to see, and if he gets in, then I'm done with character speculation. 7. What would be your reaction to K. Rool?
It's K. Rool, yes!
A lot of this holds up today. The Chunky Kong rumor was also hilarious, and I was hoping it would have turned out to be true, as Chunky is my favorite Kong in the Donkey Kong series. I got King K. Rool's pose wrong, but it was a shot in the dark anyway. I am also more or less done with character speculation, with the only characters that I want left being Phoenix Wright and Dixie Kong. Regardless, I don't want either character anywhere close to how much I wanted King K. Rool. When discussing King K. Rool being viable at tournaments, I had this to say. As a tourney goer myself, I can vouch for this. I solo main Charizard and am currently known as the best Charizard main in Chicago. I knew from day one that Charizard would never be a high tier character. I use Zard because he has always been one of my favorite characters in gaming, and I love his moveset and it feels right at home for me. Since I main Charizard, I never placed too high, but I get pretty decent results with him and have convinced others to pick him up as a secondary. That feels good to me, as one of the main points of me making Charizard is to develop his metagame and prove that he's somewhat viable. A lot of tier lists put him in his bottom 10, but I think he's in the middle of the tier list, so that's what I really want to prove to others. Although I go to tournaments to try to compete and improve, I have fun while doing it and could care less if I win money or not. If people really want to win money, as Dree89 said, they would use a high tier character like Sheik, Fox, or Rosalina instead. I just want to push Charizard's metagame to its limit while making a name for myself as a known Charizard main. If I wanted to play to win and make cash, then one plays a better character, but I just want to improve at the game while still having fun. That's what really matters to me as a tournament player. With that said, I can't imagine King K. Rool be a top 25 character in the tier list. My headcanon is that he's a zoning and trap based heavyweight, and while that would make him unique compared to most of the heavies, the fact that he's a heavy alone should make him somewhat unviable and put him in mid-tier or lower. Heavies in general, unless you're Rob or Yoshi, lack options against juggling and being combo food, and some of their attacks have too much starter and lag, which can make them easily punishable. King K. Rool will probably struggle the most with fast characters like Sheik, Captain Falcon, and Pikachu, which could escape his traps and outzone or juggle him. Keep in mind that this is just my speculation, and King K. Rool could somehow turn out to be way different, but if we take his potential Smash moveset and properties into account, it's very unlikely he'll be able to keep up the high tiers. Overall, as a tournament goer, I have a lot of fun playing the game at a high level with a mid-tier character. With that said, while there are some people who take the game very seriously and play for cash, those types of people are few and far between, and most people go to a tournament knowing that they won't win the whole thing, let alone top 8. Meaning a low or mid-tier takes serious dedication, and competitive King K. Rool mains would certainly be a niche in the tournament scene, and King K. Rools probably won't take the gold at tournaments. If people main King K. Rool at tournaments, it would probably be like why main Zard. They like the character or their moveset and want to push his metagame to the limit. It's interesting how I predicted King K. Rool will be a mid-tier character. While he doesn't exactly have a zoning and trap-based moveset, his weights and laggy attacks were definitely spot on. I'm honestly kind of shocked that people thought King K. Rool was broken during the first month of Ultimate's release, as I always imagined him to be a lower mid-tiered character. Nonetheless, as I mentioned in the post, King K. Rool players are largely a niche in competitive Ultimate, and the people that do use them tend to be more passionate from my experience, like Ben Gold or Kirby Kid. This post aged well, except for a comment about King K. Rool not taking the gold because Ben Gold took gold at a tournament in Australia. There was a post where I was being criticized in my local scene for supporting King K. Rool. Since the Fire Battle is coming to an end, I decided to create a Fire Battle poll for the Chicago Smash 4 community, since I thought it would be a fun way to see which characters people would be interested in for the Chicago community. I'm not posting the poll in here until it's over, because I don't want us to skew the results. The poll is doing great, and over 90 people have voted for the character they have wanted so far. With that said, I'm well known in the Chicago Smash 4 community for being the biggest supporter there of King K. Rool for Smash 4. However, even though a few others support him, and he's currently third in the Chicago Fighter Ballot poll, a lot of people have antagonized me for supporting King K. Rool, and they also think I'm the only one that really wants him. They said some toxic things like, don't support King K. Tool and he's an ugly character, and it's really sad to see that to be antagonized just for liking a character. As a Charizard main who goes to tournaments and has a hard time making out pools and monthlies, I just wanted to play as Charizard because he's my favorite character in the game, and I want to push him to the limit. King K. Rool is also one of my favorite characters in video games, and he has so many legitimate reasons to be added to Smash that it's sad when people bash on me for wanting to main him too. I don't care about character viability, but I really do wish that people would stop being so negative and close-minded on which characters they want to see in Smash. If King K. Rool does get into Smash, then the joke is on them, since I never bash anyone for their character choices, no matter how ridiculous they are. Some people in Chicago think characters like Knuckles or Chrono are legitimate options, and even though I and many others see how unlikely they are, I never bash on them for wanting such characters, because there's no reason to put others down for having a dream character. It just creates a toxic environment and makes character speculation way less fun and productive for everyone. Does anyone else have a local Smash community where others are so negative about your most wanted character? Because it's sad that people feel the need to yell at others for something as petty as wanting a character in a video game. If a character gets into Smash, then I feel like Sakurai has seen something in that character that makes them worth a while to add. King K. Rool has a ton of positive things going for him, so for Sakurai to say, from here on out, it will be fan service, and then not include such a highly demanded character as King K. Rool would be a huge slap in the face to fans. If I'm really the only person who wants King K. Rool, then why is he the most requested first-party newcomer worldwide? It's so frustrating to deal with people like that. I'll literally cry tears of joy if King K. Rool gets revealed. I and many others have been waiting so long for King K. Rool that it's gotten to the point where it's been a painful process. With occurrences like the Mii costume and his irrelevance adding fuel to the fire, our finest hour comes soon enough, hopefully. In my opinion, a lot of this holds true today for character support in general. Banjo-Kazooie fans had similar detractors before they became playable, and we see this toxic behavior from many other characters being supported for Smash. At the end of the day, Sakurai can pick whoever he wants, so a lot of these internet arguments don't really matter too much. Sure, it was a shame that people in Chicago were hard on me for wanting King K. Rool, but not only did I get my character, I also moved from there to Southern California a few months later. It's just weird that King K. Rool was a target, so to speak, and people have since moved on to arguing about other characters, since King K. Rool is now in the game. My answers and some more questions about King K. Rool. So guys, I think it's time for more questions for old time's sake. 1. Has there ever been a moment in which you wanted to give up on supporting K. Rool? No. You always have to fight for what you want. Giving up doesn't help if anything. 2. Are you going to make a I was wrong thread on the K. Rool subforums? No. 3. What is your favorite and least favorite Kremling? My favorite Kremling is King K. Rool, of course. My least favorite Kremling is Calypso. She's just there for the furries, and I don't think much of those types of characters. 4. Is K. Rool your favorite Nintendo villain? Or even your favorite Nintendo character? King K. Rool is definitely my favorite Nintendo villain. I never cared much for characters like Bowser and Ganondorf, while I like other characters such as Wario Dedede, who aren't actually villains. I love a clever and smart villain that's also goofy and crazy, so King K. Rool fits that description perfectly. As far as favorite Nintendo characters go, I would even put him at the top of that too. Here's my list from worst to best. 5. Jigglypuff. 4. Wario. 3. Luigi. 2. Charizard. 1. King K. Rool. 5. Was there anyone who convinced you about supporting K. Rool, or did you start supporting K. Rool on your own? I decided to support him on my own. He's just a logical choice for many reasons, so I always find it odd when people were completely against him when considering the facts surrounding him. 6. If K. Rool makes it into Smash, do you think he would become a mainstay for the rest of the series? Yes. Most characters get cut for reasons that K. Rool will never be cut for, like programming reasons, being a clone, copyright, or whatever. King K. Rool doesn't have a lot of reason to be cut, especially if he's popular enough to warrant one of the most wanted ballot picks. 7. Do you hate me? 8. Some of you may know this, but once Smash 4 speculation ends, I will leave these boards. When that happens, will you guys miss me? Or will you be happy that someone as worthless and pathetic as me is finally gone? We don't hate you and we'll all miss you. Every one of us has done our best to try to get King K. Rool in Smash, so to see anyone who supported him disappearing after all this time marks them an era. An era we'll all look back both fondly and not so fondly on. A lot of this definitely holds up today. I definitely don't think that King K. Rool would get cut after everything he went through to come back. King K. Rool is still my favorite Nintendo villain too. I'll explain why in this next post. That's one of the reasons why I love King K. Rool as a character so much. His plans in each main series Rare game got progressively more insane. In Donkey Kong Country 1, he took the Banana Horde in order to gain the Kong's attention as the Kremlings attempted to take over their island. My headcanon of their goal was to starve the Kongs enough in order to get rid of them, meaning they could take over the island easily. The Kremlings easily underestimated Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong though. In Donkey Kong Country 2, King K. Rool now saw Donkey Kong as a threat, so he successfully kidnapped and tortured him throughout the game as the Kremlings invaded the island once again. He also used Donkey Kong's kidnapping to blackmail Diddy for the Banana Horde, knowing how much the bananas meant to Donkey Kong in the first game. In Donkey Kong Country 3, King K. Rool sees both Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong as threats, kidnapping them and utilizing them both as living batteries. On top of that, Dixie Kong and Kiddy Kong didn't even know they were kidnapped. They thought they just went missing and went to look for them without yet learning King K. Rool's involvement. They seem to be aware of chaos, however. By the time Donkey Kong 64 happened, King K. Rool was losing it. He felt that this could have been his last chance of taking over DK Isle for himself. After his attempts of learning from his mistakes didn't work out, he realizes that he needed to go all out if nothing held back. King K. Rool's main plan was to fire a laser at DK Isle and completely obliterate it. Once it didn't work out and he needed his laser repaired, he kidnapped 4 of the Kongs and stole Donkey Kong's Banana Horde once again. This would ensure that Donkey Kong would starve, not have anyone to help him, and let him realize the reality where his island would be nuked soon. Of course, Donkey Kong's persistence stopped King K. Rool anyway. After Donkey Kong 64, I personally felt like no matter what King K. Rool did, he felt like he couldn't win. This could be due to various factors, like the resilience of the Kongs, the competence of his minions, or just a general feeling of hopelessness. I think the way Rare portrayed King K. Rool's descent into madness throughout the Country trilogy and DK64 is really great, as it's hard to find villains that recognize where they went wrong, how could they improve, and when to know to quit. I definitely agree that DK64 was King K. Rool's last big hurrah, as his plots in the DK Jungle Climber games felt much more Bowser-esque, in the sense that he just wanted to take Donkey Kong's bananas because he's an evil guy and does evil things. Rareware's portrayal of King K. Rool felt like so much more than that to me. A great villain who always strives for greater things, and eventually realized that everything was working against him at all costs. King K. Rool will always be my favorite Nintendo villain because of that. He's comical and insane, yet self-aware and flawed. King K. Rool always did the absolute best he could, yet he left when he was still bested by his competition regardless of what he did. I have a lot of respect for that. If anyone asked me why King K. Rool is my favorite villain in any video game, I would just direct them to this post. I love how Rare wrote their characters, because they are simple, cartoony characters on the surface, but they can have some depth to them if you look further. I can relate to King K. Rool's struggles on learning from his mistakes and wanting to improve, and I feel like it is reflected in my Smash play of him. All the more reason for him to be satisfying to use, in my opinion. Here's what I had to say on being asked if I would main King K. Rool after he was announced. We all worked so hard to bring King K. Rool back, it'd be a disservice not to main him. I made Charizard in Smash 4 and Project M, but the Kremlin King looks like so much fun to play as that I wanted to dedicate using only him as my main. Sorry Zard, but this is truly your finest hour. I am so ecstatic to finally main King K. Rool. Throughout Ultimate's lifespan, I've definitely committed to solo main King K. Rool. It's cool to see that I stuck with the Kremlin King through thick and thin. The King K. Rool fanbase sent a letter to Masahiro Sakurai, and I was one of the many people who signed the letter. This is incredibly beautiful. It's so amazing that all of us worked so hard in demonstrating how much King K. Rool and the Kremlins mean to us on a personal level, and thanking Sakurai in such a respectful way like this is the best possible thing we could have ever done to repay him for listening. It feels so good to see how many people cared to sign the letter too. It was most definitely a pleasure for me. I really hope Sakurai replies to briefly acknowledge our appreciation for his hard work and dedication, but even if he doesn't, he'll most likely appreciate it and show it to his co-workers. We did a great job, everyone. Regardless if you've been supporting King K. Rool since Melee or just learned who he was 2 weeks ago. This happened because of all of us, and I'm personally very proud of that. I have never been a part of such a dedicated grassroots movement for a character before, so this letter really cemented how passionate and hopeful the King K. Rool fanbase truly was. Things like this make me grateful that Nintendo and Sakurai picked King K. Rool for the base roster, as they were pretending that King K. Rool did not even exist for a few years. This is a great reward for them deciding to listen to us. My response on what types of arguments people like to use against characters and how they might not mean much. My most wanted character was King K. Rool. Obviously the biggest argument against him was his relevance. While it is true that he has been missing in action for a decade, his importance to the Donkey Kong Country trilogy and Donkey Kong 64 cannot be ignored. Those 4 games alone cemented his legacy as a great Nintendo villain, and that was enough of a reason for him to become relevant again in future games in my opinion. I agree completely. My thoughts on the Donkey Kong Country cartoon. I actually always liked the DKC cartoon. I used to have the Crystal Coconut VHS tape. I found King K. Rool in it to be so hilarious. I got a kick on how incompetent Clump and Crush it were, and how King K. Rool reacted to their antics. The cartoon was always one of the reasons I like King K. Rool so much. I know the cartoon is really cheesy and badly animated, but I feel that it's part of its charm. It was never designed to be looked at critically, or be the best video game show or anything, or to send deep messages and morals to its viewers. It's just designed to be good, old, campy fun, and that alone made it enjoyable for me, both as a kid and even today. Plus, 2 words, the music. Seriously, why was the music so good? Finest Hour is a classic, but I'm Nobody's Hero is legendary.
Once I was the ape of the hour, they think I'm a coward, an absolute zero. I'm nobody's hero.
In response to this image created by user Laniv. That picture reminds me of something that I enjoy about King K. Rool's Smash trailer. The only characters in Smash that know King K. Rool remotely well are Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. They are his most respected enemies. King K. Rool is briefly acquainted with the Mario characters except for Rosalina and Mario Super Sluggers, but other than that, no one else in the game has any clue on who he is. With Bowser and Ganondorf having been in since Melee, and really also finally joining despite previous Smash appearances, it makes it feel like King K. Rool has to prove his worth to others that he's never faced before. His inclusion feels personal to me, as in he finally got in the Fight Club that he heard about from the Kongs and now has to prove why he's just as worthy of opponent as anyone else despite over a decade of absence. We all know he's potent and a great fighter, and so do Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, but none of the other playable fighters do. It's going to be satisfying to make a point to use King K. Rool to demonstrate why we've been waiting so long for his inclusion and why he's worth it over the other fighters and villains that have been in Smash far longer than he has. Even most of the cast already knows Ridley from his boss appearances in Brawl and Smash 4. King K. Rool's interactions with most Smash characters will be brand new. It has been cool seeing King K. Rool fighting unlikely character matchups like Piranha Plant, Terry Bogard, and Min Min. King K. Rool would never have a reason to fight any of these characters in any other circumstance, but that's just what makes Smash so magical. I personally feel strongly about character loyalty, as this post proves. I don't care if King K. Rool is bad or not. He is my favorite villain of all time, and I've been waiting way too long to play as him. I'm not going to drop him if he's bad. That's irrelevant unless you're one of the best players in the world or are competing strictly for money. Charizard is another favorite character of mine, and I used him for the entirety of Smash 4 despite him being low tier. This was because I loved Charizard as a character, and I liked how he played as well. Tiers don't affect which characters I want to play. How much I like the character itself does. I will be only making King K. Rool in Ultimate for similar reasons I made Charizard in Smash 4, and I will not drop the Kremlin King if he gets nerfed heavily. It's great to have my favorite villain by far as a playable character in Smash Ultimate, and that's all that matters to me. This all holds up. I don't play competitively for money. I play for the thrill of using my dream main. At this point in time, Ultimate released a month ago. Here I am discussing how lucky we are to have used King K. Rool in Smash. I agree 100%. I still feel like it's surreal that he made it into Ultimate. We truly did get lucky considering what happened to other popular choices like Isaac and Geno. I feel like I should have gotten over him being included by now. But just the fact that the newcomers are so scarce this time around, plus the fact that Sakurai said King K. Rool received a ton of votes on the ballot, despite many others also scoring highly, shows that we were carefully selected out of the top fan favorites. With people who never cared for him, let alone know who he is, suddenly starting to use him all over the world, we can comfortably know in the back of our minds that we all knew for years that he would be a great candidate for Smash. I am eternally grateful to Sakurai and all of us for making our voices clear. King K. Rool used to be known as one of the most requested characters for years, but now, he's grouped with many other characters that we've known as being a part of the Smash roster for over a decade. In other words, he's transited from being a wishlist choice to cementing himself as a Smash Bros. Mainstay. Truly beautiful stuff. This really does hammer in the fact that King K. Rool jumped into the mainstream. It's crazy to see how he went from competing with characters like Ridley and Banjo for a spot in the roster, to all of them eventually joining. Plus, they can be compared to Smash mainstays like Mario and Link, since they are all playable characters in the same game. I love it. Hopefully we get at least one more fan-requested character in Fire Pass 2. The user Kirby Worshipper 2465 posted an image of some Smash characters in the Persona 5 art style created by Francis. It still weirds me out that King K. Rool can be casually dropped right next to the rest of the Smash mainstay characters, and it's suddenly considered normal. I'm so used to King K. Rool being a part of the Ballot group, consisting of characters like Isaac and Geno, that seeing him just be another character in the actual Ultimate roster makes me realize how lucky we are. All of the fan art of King K. Rool since his announcement wouldn't have been done if he wasn't a playable character, with the same thing happening for other characters like Piranha Plant and Joker. It just goes to show that being part of the all-star lineup is all it takes to get any sort of attention from the community. It's been over 8 months and I still can't believe it. I wonder when the fact that he's just another character in the game will finally settle in. For me, I think a new Donkey Kong Country game with King K. Rool as the villain will make him seem more natural of a choice. For now, it's still surreal to me that he came back after all these years despite how ignored he was outside of us supporters. Even 2 years later, it still has not fully settled in for me that King K. Rool can be grouped with the other characters in the game. It does feel like a new Donkey Kong Country game would normalize his inclusion for me. His Smash design is a brand new mishmash of his old rare coloring and belly armor, combined with his build from the Pay-On games. If the Donkey Kong series rebrands King K. Rool with his new Smash design, and then gives him the same amount of love and attention that Ultimate did, then it'll feel a lot more natural to me. In that sense, Nintendo will see King K. Rool as an important character to his home series, at least in my opinion. For now though, King K. Rool Smash just seems like a bonus for longtime fans of the Donkey Kong series. On the Geno thread, People were talking about how to deal with haters of your most wanted character. With me having experience from the King K. Rool days, here's what I had to say. I ignore the haters. King K. Rool was my most wanted character since Melee, and I'm proud to have made him since launch. Haters gonna hate, and the same fate will happen to every character gets added, including Gino. At the end of the day, what really matters is how much you enjoy the game. Don't be discouraged by others or things like Gino's so campy, he's not fun to play as, or lol at all the people who thought Gino's going to be viable. At the end of the day, your most wanted got in the game, and that it's already leagues above others who were waiting for their dream characters to be added. If anything, it just shows that some people are jealous or lonely and are taking it out on the ones who truly care about their character. As long as I keep playing, I will never stop main K. Rool. If Gino does join the battle, I hope his fans can make the most of his playability as well. Gino's fans deserve it. This goes for any character too, not just Gino. I know how it feels to see the character you want the most to become playable after years of waiting, and I do have to say, it's one of the most satisfying feelings I've ever experienced. It felt like winning the lottery. I love seeing the reactions to Banjo for similar reasons, and I hope Smash continues to excite and reward the fans of characters. This will be the last post I will focus on in this video. I posted some thoughts on why people don't have to care about what people in the competitive community may think about your dream character choice. The competitive community does not care about the groundswell of support these highly requested characters earned before their Smash debuts. I decided to main King K. Rool in Ultimate simply because I was a big King K. Rool supporter over the years and really wanted him in Super Smash Bros. As I loved his unhinged personality and thought he'd be a fun and unique character. A lot of competitive players won't care about how much you thought Gino would make a lot of sense and how excited you are that he's in the game. You just got to main Gino out of the love for the game and the character. I have been ignoring the haters and have been doing my best to press King K. Rool's meta, and I've been rewarded by winning a couple of small locals and even making it onto this directory of King K. Rool mains. Don't let anyone tell you that Gino isn't hype. Don't even think about those people. Just live in the moment, knowing that your favorite character is finally playable after years of waiting, and make the most of it. You won't regret it. I know I didn't regret it. Also, the King K. Rool player directory was created by Plague Von Karma. A link to it is in the description. Overall, the journey from speculating on King K. Rool to see him realize in Smash has been a wild ride. From being a part of the Sakurai letter, to playing Ben Gold in person, to making it into a player directory for King K. Rool mains, and many awesome moments involving the Kremlin King. I have enjoyed posting SmashBoards over the years, and it's always fun to look back and see if my posts held up over time. Cheers to King K. Rool for being playable in Smash for over 2 years. Here's to many more. Thanks for watching, everyone.